Hello everybody, this is Goose and Fox coming at you with a 500 cost rated match in the buffed Dolmel Doue. We're going to be on Arctic base for this round here, and the Dolmel Doue was buffed as part of the June 2026 unit adjustments. This is one of the units from the June adjustment list that I really wanted to make a dedicated video on, especially after trying a few rounds with it in one of my Saturday streams, where I began to grow actually quite fond of this unit, which was a surprise to me because I've had the Dolmel Doue since its banner initially came out, and on release I thought this unit was always a pretty weak general. It's one of those units that felt really interesting on paper, having a general version of the Dolmel that has more range strength than melee strength, and also having the Demon Blade ability to go with it. And those are things that do sound like they could make for a really fun and unique general to have added into GBO2, but in execution, I think it really just fell flat for the Dolmel Doue here. As I mentioned, I've had this suit since its banner first came out, and I've always thought it felt like a very weak general that needed an adjustment. Even with the Demon Blade, it never really felt all that powerful, which in defense of the Dolmel Doue there, I have never been the best when it comes to touchpad skills like Exam or Hades or Demon Blade, so I think a big part of that really just comes down to player error on my part, but yeah, it is cool to see that it is getting an adjustment now. Looking at the reference data, the Dolmel Doue is falling behind the average general for 500, and considering for the pre-anniversary event they did release the level 2, 3, and 4 version as part of limited missions, I think now was a better time than any to give the Dolmel Doue some kind of adjustment. So that is what we'll be going over in this video here. And taking a look at the adjustment here, the Dolmel Doue is a 500 cost general that now goes up to 650 with its level 4 variant. And looking at the adjustments they made here, starting off with the unit specs, the unit HP has been enhanced from 19,000 to 21,000. The unit skill, Power Accelerator level 2, has been given, and the unit skill, Offense System level 1, has been adjusted to level 2. For our main range weapon, the Dolmel Doue Beam Gun, the overheat has been shortened from 15 seconds to 12 seconds. For the sub-weapon, the Chest Missile Pod ×2, the stagger accumulation value for this weapon has been enhanced, making it easier to cause stagger to the opponent while hitting them with this weapon. And finally, for the skill Demon Blade System D ability boost, they extended the effect duration of this skill. That is going to be a touchpad skill with the Demon Blade there. I do believe before it only lasted for 1 minute, like most of the touchpad skills do, but now it has been changed to last for 1 minute and 30 seconds. So if I have the numbers right, that is an extra 30 seconds of Demon Blade that you have access to. And that is everything we have here for the adjustment for the Dolmel Doue. And while the buff list is a short one, I do think it tackled many of the issues that the Dolmel Doue had. One of the big personal issues that I've always had with this unit was its lack of durability. Even with resistance parts, the Dolmel Doue always felt a bit too fragile for what it was meant to do, so I really like that they gave it the enhanced HP. Having more HP is always a good thing for any mobile suit to get, but for the Dolmel Doue I felt like it would be a requirement if it ever did end up getting a unit adjustment, so I'm really happy to see that on the buff list here. Another complaint I've seen about the Dolmel Doue in the past is that it did not have Power Accelerator, and now you have access to Power Accelerator level 2. And probably the biggest thing I like about this unit is the extended time duration for the Demon Blade skill, because I don't think I realized how good Demon Blade was on this suit until I got the extra 30 seconds to use it. Demon Blade is so much fun on the Dolmel Doue, and I really like that they added to the timer before it runs out. As I mentioned, I've never been the best when it came to mobile suits that use touchpad skills like Demon Blade, so for me it's probably a bit more of a skill issue thing, kind of needing the extra 30 seconds and able to really do anything. But for players who are more used to suits like this, I think having the extended duration is going to be really beneficial for the Dolmel Doue here. Just having more time to do extra damage, having more mobility, and also having some more skills as well, since I believe you do get a double dodge roll when Demon Blade is active, which is really good because in base form you don't get a dodge roll at all. So yeah, all really just great things to have here. So yeah, overall really do like the adjustment they did here for the Dolmel Doue. It's one of those short and sweet adjustments that gets straight to the point. And for the Dolmel Doue here, this does feel like it's going to be a more viable pick for 500 going forward. I'm very curious to see how the higher levels of this unit are performing. At 550, I would guess that it's maybe doing relatively well. At 600 and 650, I feel like it would definitely be struggling a bit more, mainly just due to the fact that those costs do have quite a few flying suits. And while the Dolmel Doue does have the good stagger accumulation for its torso missiles, I don't know if it would be really enough to deal with a lot of the flying suits that 600 and 650 have. So would really like to see what the data on those suits are currently, if there is any. Maybe when we get the next unit adjustments and they give us the post-adjustment data for the Dolmel Doue, it would be cool if they included the higher level versions as well. I don't think they will. I don't think they've ever done that for a suit in the past, so we'll probably just get the post data for the level 1 version, but gonna be very curious to see how the other higher level versions, end up performing in the future. But yeah, I don't think I have too much else to say for the adjustment here. The last thing I really want to talk about with the Dolmel Doue is its range and melee strength, because this is something I've seen talked about quite a bit, I think as far back as the suit has been in the game, and that's because the Dolmel Doue does have a higher range stat than melee stat, which is a very weird thing to look at. You think being a variant of the Dolmel is a very melee-focused raid unit, so you think with the Dolmel Doue it would be kind of in the same boat, maybe just have a little less melee and, a bit more into its range strength, but no, its range stat is just flat out higher than its melee stat. And this is something I've seen talked about, something I know some players do not like about this suit. For where I stand on it personally, I've actually grown to really like the naturally high range stat you get on the Dolmel Doue here. For the build I'm using, I believe I've gotten my melee strength to be at the same level as my range strength, so you can definitely build the Dolmel Doue for melee to kind of make up for it, and it does lead to, at least for the build I have here, having a pretty balanced set of melee and range strength. And there are situations where I think having the higher range strength can be very useful. The moment that really nailed it into my head was when I was fighting against a Swartzum Gallus, and I was trying to get close to them so I could go in for melee, but Swartzum Gallus does have a shotgun, so I was trying to be careful not to get stunned there and locked into a melee combo, and by just using the arm beam gun and the double arm beam gun, I think only throwing a couple missiles in there, I was able to chip away at the Swartzum Gallus and finish him off. I didn't even need to go in for melee, I believe. So there are instances where I believe having the higher range stat can be very useful, especially when dealing with some raids. So yeah, just kind of wanted to briefly comment on that there, because it is something I've seen talked about, and I do think the high range stat on here can actually be really useful for the Dolmel Doue. What's not useful is me about to fumble here. I'm going to try to jump up and get to the enemy here, but I do end up in the sight line of my teammate, late model Zaku. Do get hit by the missiles, and I do fall over, so not going to be able to do anything for the final seconds of the round here, but it is going to be timeout, mission over. Let's see how we did here with the buffed Dolmel Doue at 500. And we do have a mission complete, some good works in the side chat there, and we are going to get top in damage and beat our rival, and third place with 5 kills and 3 loss, so not too bad of a match there with the Dolmel Doue. That's going to be everything for the match there, and kind of just close things off. I think this has been a really good adjustment for the Dolmel Doue. For being as small as a buff as it was, it really feels like a good glow up for this unit, and even if I don't think this unit is really going to be meta defining or anything, it does feel actually usable at 500 now, which for some suits is really all you can ask for. As I mentioned, the past Dolmel Doue just felt like a really poor unit, so I'm really glad to see how it is currently. I do think it is in a better state than where it was in the past, and yeah, it actually just feels like a really fun unit now, so yeah, really satisfied with the way this adjustment turned out. But it is going to be everything I have for this video here. Comment down below what you think about the buffed Dolmel Doue. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And if that's, I will see you all in the next one. Later.